Alright, so I figured I'd make another video after my last one on a completely different topic. I really did not expect my last video to elicit a negative response. Um, it did from one person, and it did really hurt me personally, but what can you do? Um, so I figured I'd talk about a different topic that is near and dear to me, and that is animals. Now, I am in veterinary technician school right now, and the more I learn, the more I get angry at people for what they have done to, especially dogs, our supposed best friend. All of these dog breeds that you have, these were achieved through inbreeding. Consequently, purebred dogs are more prone to health problems. It is ridiculous. With German Shepherds alone, before you even think about adopting a German Shepherd puppy, what you need to do is there is an organization called the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals. It was founded by some veterinarians who were realizing a big problem among certain dogs, namely German Shepherds, and that is hip dysplasia. What that means is their hind legs, the ones you and I walk upon on. So the leg, I'm going to try to illustrate this well on camera. Let's imagine this is the end of the femur, which is your upper leg bone. This is the pelvis, your hip. Now this is supposed to fit really well together. But with dogs with hip dysplasia, they don't. And it's one of the most expensive and involved surgeries you will find in veterinary medicine. It became such a problem that I mentioned earlier, the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals was established so that when two dogs that people were considering breeding, they could send in x-rays, and these doctors could look at both of these x-rays, evaluate them, maybe look at videos and stuff of them, and then decide if these dogs were okay to breed. Let that kind of sink in for a moment. It became such a problem that to even breed these types of dogs, you can breed them, but if you buy a German Shepherd puppy that is not certified by this foundation, then you're in for a world of hurt, because that dog is probably going to have hip dysplasia, and the cost of that surgery is I've heard like $10,000. And most people don't have that kind of money, so there are cheaper ways of fixing it, and they do work okay. But at the same time, my personal opinion is, if this is such a problem, if this is really such a problem, why do you keep breeding them? It makes me angry. I get similarly upset with the breeding of bulldogs. English bulldogs and French bulldogs, not American bulldogs. Yay, America, I guess. So they have this kind of smushed in snout. Now, this is not natural for dogs. Long-nosed animals, long-nosed dogs, and short-nosed dogs have all the same organs, all the same nerves, all the same blood vessels, but they are in breeds like bulldogs and pugs. They are smushed into this tiny space so that they have trouble breathing. I'm all for cuteness, but when that cuteness comes at the cost of that dog's health, then we need to stop breeding them. It's inhumane, and it's just so wrong. Going to vet tech school has opened my eyes to so many of the really horrible things we as a species have committed against other species. I mean, I always knew about how we had, been killing off all these species and how so many have become extinct due to our interference, but I didn't realize the extent to the damage that we have caused to these animals that we call our friends. So this is going to be a shorter video than usual, but my advice, people, dogs are great, but please stop. Don't breed them. Don't inbreed them. It's just wrong. When you inbreed dogs, it's like, think of it as if you were forcing yourself to mate with your cousin, because that's basically what this entails. You're selecting for a certain group of traits, and I mean, a Great Dane can mate with a Chihuahua. It's still the same species. That we have that many different varieties of dogs there's, how to put it? There is just as much genetic deviation between us as a human species as with dogs. But when you get with breeds, these various breeds kind of are a lot more genetically similar, and they shouldn't be. They should be allowed to mate with each other, because we've created something that nature would not ever create. Nature would not create the bulldog. Nature would not create the pug. Nature would not create the Chihuahua. We have done this. And in my personal opinion, I mean, I'm in vet tech school, and part of my job is going to be cleaning up the mess that my species has caused. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel guilty about what my species has done to other species. I really feel like we, as the smartest species that has ever really existed on this earth, we really kind of have a responsibility to use that intelligence wisely. So if you take anything away from this, just please try to be more compassionate towards the animals that you have in your life. It's okay if you own a purebred dog. There are many, rescues around that you can adopt from, and you didn't do anything to, you didn't participate in that breeding process. So there are ways, if you are dead set on a certain type of breed, that you can get that breed without participating in the problem. But please, if you have a purebred dog, please, I beg you, do not breed that dog. It is, in my opinion, it is inhumane. And that's all I have to say about that. Forrest Gump.